Hi there, traders. Hope everyone's doing well. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about alternations. Alternations usually occur within two waves in a five-wave impulse. So, for example, we'll have alternations between wave 2 and wave 4. So this basically means the nature of the corrective pattern that will unfold. So bear in mind, this is just a guideline. So this is nothing like a rule. This is something that we'll see on a more of a regular basis, more often than not. But doesn't necessarily mean that if we see, for example, if we don't see an alternation within a five-wave sequence, it doesn't mean that it's not valid. All right. So for example, here we have a bullish five-wave sequence to the upside. So let me actually just count this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what this basically means is that this is a bullish with a so this is a bullish sequence with a wave 2 which has unfolded as a sharp correction. Yeah, and then wave 4 you can see here has unfolded as a sideways correction. All right, and then same goes for this. This is also a bullish sequence, so you can see here that the alternation is different. Here you have sideways, so I'll just copy and paste that there. You got sideways here in wave 2, and then you have a sharp correction in wave 4. So you can see here, for example, wave 1 here was more, it had a more of a deeper, it can have a deeper correction, as opposed to, wave 4 here is more or less gone sideways. And then here we have wave 2 as a sideways correction, and then wave 4 is something a bit more deeper correction. However, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll be deep in terms of price. Like it can also, hover around, say for example, wave 4 guideline in terms of retracement is 38.2%, right? It can just come down to even 23.6% or 38.2%. However, it's the type of pattern that is going to be unfolding, and I'll go through that with you guys in a second. Now we have a bearish sequence, right? So we've got a bearish sequence here, and then you can see here that we have unfolded in a five-wave down instead. And I'm assuming you guys can start spotting the pattern here that wave 2 has unfolded as a sharp correction, yeah, and then wave 4 has unfolded as a sideways correction. Oops, just cancel that. There we go. And the same goes for this sequence here as well. I'm sure you guys have guessed it. Sideways correction here, and then we have a sharp correction in wave 4. Now, the reason why I went through this one by one is really good to go through these step by step to kind of embed it in our head, right? So it's really, really nice to get that sort of practice in. I'm going to show you some few examples as well in a bit. And it's really, really fun when you start spotting them, especially when you start spotting wave 2s as a sideways correction, and then wave 4 is going to be, okay, great, I can expect wave 4 to be a sharp correction. That happened to me recently with gold. I'll go through that with you all in a second as well. But, I want to emphasize again, if I see a sharp correction in wave 2, doesn't necessarily mean that I would not see a sharp correction in wave 4 as well. That happens quite often, and do not be alarmed if you do see that, because this is just a guideline. This is a fun guideline to follow, so you can be a bit ahead of the game, and yeah, it just makes you a bit more of a sharper analyst, I guess. So what is a sharp correction? A sharp correction is a zigzag, right? So we've got 5-wave up, 3-wave down, and a 5-wave up. And then within the family of double correction, or also known as complex corrections, you also have double zigzag or triple zigzags, right? And I would say that's also a sharp correction. And in fact it is, because we have a zigzag within wave W, and then obviously we have the X connector, which can unfold as any pattern. So in this case, I've put another zigzag there. And then we have wave Y as a zigzag as well. So we've got a double zigzag there. That's also a sharp correction. So if you do see a pattern unfolding, rather than unfolding in a 5, 3, 5 sequence, and you start seeing this, you know, in this degree, unfolding as a 3, 3, 3 sequence, don't be alarmed. This is still a sharp correction. All right. Now, sideways correction. Do you know what? Sideways correction is so ironic because I'm gonna go through the basic ones, and then I'll tell you even like how sideways corrections can trick analysts and traders out. Now, you know, one of the most obvious sideways corrections, you know, you got the contracting triangle, you've got a flat, all right, you got a flat here, and then a double correction. So a double correction, you know, is still part of the complex correction sort of family. So is this double zigzag, but a double correction in the sense of like, you know, you see wave W as a flat, and then you see the X connector unfold, and like, you know, here to make things a bit more realistic, you know, wave Y has unfolded as a zigzag here, but we haven't broken the highs. Okay, so it's more or less, this is a flat. You know, this is very, very flat. This is very, very sideways. So I would consider this as a sideways correction. All right. Now, the fun part with sideways corrections are that they can form new extremes in price, and although they're known as sideways corrections, but they can form a new extreme. So, for example, like we got this triangle here. Now, this is a bearish triangle, as you can see here. The way I've drawn this is a bearish triangle. We had the preceding trend is to the downside, we had a sideways action, and then obviously we will continue to decline to the downside as well here. Now imagine, now this is a running triangle, yeah, so that means wave B will form a new extreme to the downside. Now that could trick a lot of people out. Now, although it's known as sideways correction, which it is, but you know, sideways corrections can also form new extremes, and this is a completely valid running triangle there right now. Same goes for flats. You know, you can have wave B exceed the original point of wave A, and then we can have wave C, which would obviously breach through wave the extreme of wave A. That's a flat. That's a valid flat. This will trick people out. We will see, like, you know, price going into wave A, and then we'll see a new extreme to the downside. People will be like, all right, great, you know, this is a continuation, and then they'll start, you know, and then we'll see a 5 wave up into wave C. They'll be like, oh, great, you know what, time to buy. Because obviously the sequence of a flat is a 3, 3, 5. So my only sort of advice for this, to avoid being trapped into sideways corrections that form new extremes, is count the subwaves. Wave B unfolds as a 3-wave sequence. If I see this break the extreme of you know, the original point of wave A in a 3-wave sequence, I'm gonna hold back because I don't see my 5-wave down yet. So it's best to see that, and then, you know, you see a 3, 3, and then you all of a sudden see a 5-wave up. Okay, fair enough, the market could have turned around, but then after the 5-wave up, what do I see? Am I seeing a 3-wave down, or am I seeing another 5-wave down, which is supporting the preceding trend? So you got to keep an eye on that. But let's move on to some examples on how alternations work. So I've got USD CAD on here on my chart. Now recently we have been following this since April. This a 5-wave sequence to the upside. Obviously the price has developed quite a bit from there onwards. So I will show you all how the alternation has been working for this. So we had wave 1, and we unfolded a zigzag to the downside. All right, so this is a nice clean zigzag. You can even draw a channel here as well, pierce a little bit through the channel, which is still nothing alarming. It just shows that, you know, price is reaching to its extreme end. And then we had wave 4 unfold as an expanded flat. There you go, there's an alternation here. So we got wave A, B, which formed an extreme, and then we had wave C, which formed an extreme to the downside. Now, the reason why I wasn't alarmed is because I am still following and expecting a 5-wave sequence within this range, right? Unless wave 4, which was unfolding as an expanded flat, decided to then do this. the price then decided to breach into the extreme of wave 1, then I'll sit back and I'll literally reconsider my count. Then I'll be like, all right, we have broken a rule here. Wave 4 cannot go into wave 1 unless we're unfolding a leading diagonal. In this case, we will not. So then I would literally sit back and say, all right, well, let's see what's going on. All right, so that is one example here where we have a sharp correction in wave 2 and a sideways correction in wave 4. I have another cool example for you guys in gold. Gold actually unfolded, and no, not gold, sorry, apologies, silver. There we are. Now, I've been monitoring this move to the downside, all right, just to see, you know, how we are unfolding. This seems like it's unfolding in a 5-wave sequence so far, but obviously I'm going to keep a close eye on this until I see a 3-wave back, and then I'll see, you know, if this wants to continue to proceed to the downside into wave 5. But beyond that, we had wave 1, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we had a 3-wave sequence, wave A, and we had a new price extreme. Look at that, expanded flat. Now, this is a very, very steep move. This can trick people out. This can trick people into thinking this is a 5-wave sequence. The only way to confirm this, you wait for a 3-wave back without breaching the extreme here, all right? But it did. It formed a 5-wave up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we had a new price extreme, and that was wave C. That gave me a very, very good indication back in April that this is an expanded flat. And as price was developing to the downside, I had a very, very strong feeling that, you know, wave 4 is going to be some form of a zigzag, a sharp correction. And it did. We unfolded, in fact, a zigzag. Now, this is not the best looking zigzag, I must say, but the subwaves all make sense. Like, this is definitely a zigzag. I thought this was a double correction, but it's not. This is actually a zigzag. So we got a zigzag here, which is officially a sharp correction. And now we've broken the extreme of wave B, and now we're unfolding to the downside. The only thing I can see it changing is that if this also unfolds as an expanded flat, so we've got a 3-wave up, and then if we see a 3-wave down, yeah, breaking the wave extreme of wave 3 here, and then we see a 5-wave up. Don't see that at the moment. I'm not concerned about that. I'm only going to follow what the data is giving me so far. But here was a cool example. Now, the next part I want to show you all is how can we use this information? Alternations, like what can we do with this? Like, you know, you're okay, great, to alternate, but how can this be helpful when we're being analysts, when we're being traders? Now, I'm following, I'll show you guys this on a daily time frame. I've been watching this unfold, all right? So we had a 5-wave up, a zigzag, and now we have a very, very nice, a clean wave 3, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, wave 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 waves within there. So now this, I saw this move. Wow, this is a very, very steep move. So I'm thinking, what kind of pattern would this unfold if this is a 5-wave sequence into wave C? Like, I'm scratching my head. So unless we break wave 3, right, in the extreme of wave 3 in a 5-wave sequence, then I would be like, all right, you know, it seems like wave 4 is done. This is probably some form of a steep wave. I'll have a look. Then obviously the guideline alternation was not respected in this occasion. However, there's a good chance this can also unfold as a triangle. There's a good chance this could also unfold, break this in a 3-wave sequence as an expanded flat, or even as a running triangle. So I'm keeping a close eye on this. It may or may not unfold as a running triangle. This may even just go straight, decline, and my count is completely wrong, and I need to readjust my count. That's fine, doesn't matter, because I didn't trade this, right? I'm just counting this at the moment. So as an analyst, I want to keep myself a bit ahead of the game. Is now I'm seeing this move down, up. Now this move means nothing to me at the moment, other than the fact that if we do, like I said, 5-0 up, then I'll be like, all right, wave 4's done. But I can prep myself, be like, okay, well, you know, this might be a triangle, who knows? This could be some form of sideways correction as it's unfolding, because we saw a zigzag here, which is more of a sharper correction. So it's nice to kind of like keep an eye out on future corrective patterns, especially in wave 4. This is only really handy in wave 4 because we don't know what wave 2 is going to unfold as, either sharp or a sideways correction. So it's nice to kind of like, keep an eye on that. So this alternation is for 1 to 5 impulse waves. There are also alternations in corrective patterns as well. I'll show you that next lesson. I think this is enough for us to digest for now. I hope you all have a fantastic day and week. If you have any questions, please drop us a comment in the comment section, and yeah, just give us a like and subscribe. Take care.